And welcome into To Your Health. You know, that's all you have to do is turn on the news, and there's lots of things happening about the health in America. And healthcare is number one on everybody's minds, especially as you age. And one of the big ones is diabetes. And we're very fortunate today to have two special guests. One that's been a regular on the show, Pam Green. You are over the diabetes program for Baptist Heath.
Yes, sir.
You're also a registered dietitian.
Yes, sir.
Mike Polis, and you are a registered dietitian, and you are at Baptist South. But between all of you, your objective in life is to help people with diabetes. So one of you will let me know, what really do we consider to be it is a disease, right?
Yes.
It's an incurable disease at this point.
Correct.
Okay. What is diabetes really?
There are two major types, and the types that the majority of people have are type 2.
Okay.
And it's when your body does not produce enough insulin to manage or regulate your blood sugars, or the insulin that it produces is not great or working efficiently, and you have too much blood sugar over time, which creates a problem because that's not a normal state.
Mm-hmm. So basically, a person are they prone to it at a certain age, Mike, or does it happen any time in life?
Yeah, it can certainly happen at any time in life. Type 2 diabetes is more diet related. So, you know, instilling those good behaviors at a young age. Also, it starts with parenting, you know, introducing those healthy foods, those fruits and vegetables at a very young age can definitely teach those behaviors needed to progress on, you know, throughout the life cycle. And
then normally when you're having an exam, you go to see your doctor, and as part of the normal exam, when they're doing blood work,
yes,
they're going to test the thing called your blood sugar.
Yes.
And is that obviously, as the term says, is the amount of sugar that's in your blood?
Yes.
Running around in there.
And that's the way that you tell, because a lot of people say, well, I didn't feel any different. And so we do encourage people to go yearly to their physician to get that blood glucose test, because that will catch it early, because often type 2 starts very slowly. There's no obvious symptoms, but if you go regularly to your physician to test that, you can catch it at the very beginning, and there you have the best shot of starting early and working on it. So I would encourage people to go to their physician, because they're going to, if they get a physical every year, that blood sugar will be tested.
And Mike, what would be a normal blood sugar in a person? I know that they keep changing the target.
They do.
Sure. 90 to 100, I believe, is pre-diabetic, and anything greater than 120 would be diabetic.
Considered diabetic.
Yeah.
I know that I am diabetic, and I would go, again, like you said, Pam, I'd go to my doctor, I'd have my examinations, and he'd say, oh, you're kind of borderline diabetic. And then one time I went there, he says, guess what? You've crossed the border.
You crossed the
and
border.
I said, oh, no. But, you know, it was funny because I was there, and it's kind of a shock. You know, it's kind of like telling somebody, if you got cancer, you have this, or you've got a disease. But I was very attuned to saying, okay, you told me, now what do I need to do? And then, you know, you go to a diabetes school right off the bat. And insurance pays for that, too.
Let me back up and just catch one thing that I think your listeners would need to know. There's about 29 million people in the United States with diabetes, but there are 80-something million who are in that gray zone, and that's where we want to catch people, because you have a much greater chance at lifestyle changes that Mike and I talk about every day, good food choices, good exercises, and weight loss. Because obesity and overweight are tied real close to type 2 diabetes. So if we find out that we're just a little bit above, that's the time to really change and get in there, because you can actually lose weight there and reverse the blood sugars before you get to that diagnosis of diabetes. We want to change the 80-something million.
Thank God.
You know?
Well, then, Mike, when you're talking about the obesity, how does obesity affect that? Obviously when you think of obesity, you think you're fat. Does fat have a play with diabetes?
Sure. The more adipose tissue or fat that you have, the more insulin resistant you are.
Okay.
So you can't metabolize glucose, which is found in our carbohydrate foods, as good as somebody who doesn't have diabetes. So your carbohydrate utilization is kind of impaired, which can definitely lead into weight gain and other complications as well.
That's good. Well, listen, I'm going to get you guys to come back next week, because what we want to do is we're going to do this over about a 3-week period of time here, because we want to be able to, obviously, today we're learning what diabetes is all about. Next week we want to let people know some of the signs that you may be diabetic, and then when you come back the third time, we want to find out how are we going to live a happy life to, first of all,
Yes.
don't cross the border.
There you go.
And if you've crossed the border, you kind of
You can turn back.
You said the key word, reverse.
Yes.
And you can kind of reverse the process.
Yes.
And again, Mike, with diet, that's probably one of the key ways to do it.
Absolutely.
Amen. So remember this, this number 2 disease in the United States killing people. Heart disease is number 1. Diabetes is right behind it. So many people have it, especially in the state of Alabama. One of the things we don't want to be number 1 in is diabetes. So join us again next week, and we're going to find out some of the signs and, more importantly, what you can do to live a healthy lifestyle. We'll be right back right after this.